You are listening to GameBreak, brought to you by HNE.
This review is written by Nathaniel Stormblade on Friday, August 14th, 2009 for the game Marvel vs. Capcom 2, New Age of Heroes for the Dreamcast, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was originally released on the Dreamcast and re-released on July 29, 2009 to the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. The game was perhaps one of the most popular games on the Dreamcast. It was the second attempt at a crossover fighting game with popular Marvel and Capcom characters. Players could create their own legendary matches such as Ryu vs. Cyclops, Wolverine vs. Ken, and Chun-Li vs. Storm. This game has held up well since its original release nearly a decade ago, so instead there will be a small part that separates the original release from the new release. The game looks good. It's based on character designs during the 1990s. At that time, the video game Street Fighter II and the television series X-Men, the animated series, were hits. Many of the Marvel characters' voices are from the voice actors behind the television series, while the Capcom characters are voiced by the Capcom voiceover team, mainly Japanese-speaking voice actors. There are over 50 characters in the game. Half of the characters belong to the various Capcom brands, and the other half belong to the Marvel brands. On the Capcom side, you have the Street Fighters, Resident Evil, Vampire Hunters, and Mega Man, amongst others. On the Marvel side, you have the Avengers, the X-Men, the Brotherhood, and a few who fight for themselves. It is virtually a who's who's of fighters. The game's characters are two-dimensional, while the surroundings present a feeling of three-dimensional space. The music is of an unusual pop-rock nature. The sound effects are taken from the television program and video games that the characters are based. The game requires 6 buttons, and every button is used for multiple combinations, including the usual attacks, super attacks, and switching between team partners. The game is a little fussy about button timing, and people with smaller hands may have an issue hitting multiple buttons at once with their thumbs. On the plus side, anyone who has ever played a Street Fighter-like game should be able to handle the controls rather quickly and easily. For those who have not, there is a practice option available. The new version of the game has a few differences that set it apart from the original. First, all of the characters are unlocked, so there is no need to acquire points to purchase them. Second, there are online fighting options for ranked and unranked matches. Third, there are new settings to complement those who have high-definition televisions. Finally, there are awards that can be won if players meet certain accomplishments while playing the game. Originally, the game sold for an upwards of $60 to $65 USD. Now, for only $15 USD, players can get more features, and the game is entirely unlocked. It does take away from the replay value slightly, but the online battling does make up for it in some ways. However, if a player lost his or her internet connection after acquiring the game and had no one locally to play against, there would be little motivation to play. The game is well worth the purchase for fans of both franchises and fighting games.
To read more in relation to what was covered in this segment, previews, reviews, and other game-related articles, log on to www.haslage.net.